Ladies and gentlemen, the American Cheering Bulldog Nation, welcome to the Eric Deters Show. Well, Donald Trump is saying to Gaza, they may never return. Do you believe it? Once upon a time, we were talking about a two-state solution, and now Trump's like, you're not going back. You know why? Because all the Palestinian Gaza Strip was Hamas. And you know what? Netanyahu is like, you know what, President Trump? In light of what the hell is going on and how good you are to us, yeah, we like this idea. It's an amazing turn of events. I tell you what has shocked me. So far, I haven't heard G, Putin, or anyone else weigh in on this. It's kind of wild when you think about it. Rod Blagojevich has gotten a pardon. Gold is now up to $2,936 an ounce, a new record. $300,000 for a crowd fund for Luigi. How come we can't get that for Durrani victims? Crazy. The FAA is going back to saying notice to airmen. They actually had to stop saying airmen under the Biden administration. Nuts. And Fort Liberty is back to being Fort Bragg. And PBS has gotten rid of their DEI. You believe that? Even they had to succumb. And Tulsi Gabbard is now set for a full Senate vote. And Trump said on his Super Bowl interview that he thinks it's sad that fat drugs are too expensive for everybody. I agree with that. Everybody ought to be skinny if you got any money. You ready for this? This is interesting. Elon Musk has said during his work for Doge, he has found some good feds, that there are federal workers who've always wanted to do the right thing, and management has stopped them. Of course, we assumed that that would be the case, right? So not everybody's going to have to leave. Trump, in a Super Bowl interview, made a comment when asked, not necessarily that J.D. Vance is the heir apparent. That's a smart move on Trump's part. He's got all kinds of acolytes. Why would he, at this stage in the game, anoint Vance? It'll be interesting how that unfolds in 2 years from now. And Dunkin' Donuts and some others have been hit by the FDA for all their toxic chemicals. Have you eaten a Dunkin' Donuts? Dunkin' Donut is like chemicals in the form of a donut. I can't believe people eat that. A $2.3 million DEI program was found that they were using for military training. That's out. And the FBI happened to find 2,000 more documents on the JFK assassination. How does that happen? And is it a coincidence? Eric Adams, the prosecutors have been told, the federal prosecutors have been told to drop the charges against Eric Adams, the mayor of New York. Isn't that interesting? And Hamas is going back on their deal with Israelis, and Trump says, strap it on and get ready. Will Cain's 4 o'clock show on Fox News is way ahead of Neil Cavuto, who was in that stead. You know why? Every time Fox News has given a show to someone who wasn't, it's been a mistake. That's why. Who like Neil Cavuto? And you know the others that they've gotten rid of in the past. Lockheed Martin got nailed for a $25 million fine for screwing the Pentagon on the F-35 building. Can you imagine how they could do that? It's unbelievable. And Rick Grinnell, per President Trump, is going to be the new executive director of the Kennedy Center. Rick Grinnell's got like 3 or 4 jobs. And there has been a bid by Elon Musk and others for $90 billion for OpenAI, which is supposed to be a nonprofit, but they're wanting to turn to a profit. And they said, hell no, but we'd pay, for X, we'd pay $9.7 billion. A little slapback. Ackman and Musk going at it. And the Federal Reserve might be on the list for Doge. Let's hope. And Andy Barr announced that he is interested in running for the seat that will be vacated by Senator Mitch McConnell for the United States Senate. It's my belief, and I've been telling everybody this. Everybody said, you going to run against Mitch? I said, Andy Barr, even though he was a Mitch guy, Andy Barr will get the Trump endorsement and the Trump folks, and he will be the one to be elected the United States Senate. That's my opinion. And if Bashir runs against him, Bashir will lose. Let's see what we got next here. Fox, they bought the podcast unit that Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly is on. Isn't that funny? And Trump says he wants to tax the sports owners, all these billionaires. That's interesting, isn't it? Fauci Museum? Doge just shut down a Fauci Museum. Can you believe it, folks? Apparently it's going to be like $120 million. What? A Fauci Museum? That's insane. Kroger's going to lay off 200 people as part of their C-suite downsizing. Trump got rid of everybody on all the military academy boards. United Healthcare says they're tired of being shot at and complained about for their claim denials. 3,800 is the air traffic controller shortage. And we found out why. You know why? DEI. They didn't want a bunch of white people at air traffic control. And McDonald's is suffering the worst losses in sales in 5 years. Uh-oh. And FEMA abuse is so bad. You ready for this? New York City, $50 billion to who? Illegal immigrants. You believe it? It just never ends. This is the Bulldog. Coming up next, local news. All right, here we go with local news. By the way, in Cincinnati area, they said 4 inches. Nothing. You see, even though they got the big snowstorm right about a month ago, they don't get much else right, do they? All right, Children's Hospital transplant issue. This young girl is wanting to get a transplant. Children's won't put her on her list because of her vax status. Here's the way I look at this. I look at it both ways. First off, I'm on the side of the girl and her parents. She shouldn't have to be vaxxed to get on the transplant list. That is appalling to me. On the other hand, from a practical matter, if you're in such bad health that you need a transplant, I'd say screw it, get the vax and just play their game. That's my view. There were protesters at McConnell's Kentucky headquarters about him not standing up for the Constitution. Imagine that. Robbie Robinson was convicted. You know what? This was a sick case. What did he do? He had a woman that he beat the hell out of and put lighter fluid on her face, lit the fire. She jumped out the window. She later died from her injury. I mean, it's just appalling. And Brian Hambley from Ohio is going to run for Secretary of State of the state of Ohio. Andy Beshear. Let me tell you about Andy Beshear. Andy Beshear is something else. He signs legislation. He knows that the legislature in Kentucky can override him all the time. So he acts like the good stuff is his. It's not. If it was a Democratic legislature, he'd never sign any of it. So anything good that comes out of the legislature has nothing to do with Andy freaking Beshear. But he takes credit for it, like the income tax reduction. Now, Andy Beshear also opposes anything. He's just like anything. If Donald Trump said sky's blue, he'd say no, it's green, just to be different. Why? The guy thinks he can be president of the United States. It is never going to happen. Andy Barr, I put this in the regular news, but I want to point it because of Kentucky. He says he wants McConnell's seat. He will be the front runner. And the Reds are going to have a Pete Rose patch for their upcoming season to honor Pete Rose. And this is the big news, really. Saved it for last. Jim Tressel has been nominated by Governor DeWine to be his new lieutenant governor because his last lieutenant governor went off to be a U.S. Senator. So Jim Tressel, the former Ohio State Buckeye coach, Youngstown coach, is going to be the next lieutenant governor. It was not stated whether he'd be interested in running for governor. That's going to be interesting. In addition to that, his focus will be on education. So that'll be a good thing. Coming up next, Jamie Spindley and his World News.
Hello again, the latest world headlines. A bus carrying more than 70 people crashed off a highway bridge into a ravine in Guatemala City, killing at least 51 people. The fire department spokesperson Carlos Hernandez confirmed the victims included 36 men and 15 women. Rescuers pulled 10 injured survivors from the wreckage, some of whom were taken to hospital. New Zealand has accused the Cook Islands in the South Pacific of poor communication over its plans to partner with China. Cook Islands Prime Minister Mike Brown is in Beijing for his first country state visit to sign the agreement. New Zealand's Prime Minister Christopher Luxon said his country was not properly informed about the deal, leading to a diplomatic dispute. In other news, an 8-year-old girl was fatally stabbed by a teacher at an elementary school in Daejeon, South Korea. The teacher, a woman in her 40s, admitted to stabbing, according to police. The incident has left the country in shock. And a rare whirlpool formed in California's reservoir high water triggered the unique drainage feature for the first time in many years. The swirling water created a mesmerizing display, capturing public attention. That's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow, but stay tuned for Sports Without Boundaries. Cheerio.
All right, Sports Without Boundaries. University of Kentucky plays Tennessee tonight at Rupp. Robinson's not going to be playing. We'll see how it goes. Travis Kelce's going to make a decision whether he retires or not. Patrick Mahomes said he will support whatever decision they have. And even though I mentioned this in local news, I must say it again. In sports, the Reds are going to wear a patch to honor Pete Rose. And a few add-ons just for what it's worth is Luka played his first game with the Lakers, and they smoked the Utah Jazz. All right, coming up next, pop culture. Vince Neil's plane wrecked on an Arizona runway. I think somebody was killed. His girlfriend was okay. Vince Neil, I don't think, was on the plane. Have you seen a recent picture of Vince Neil? This is the former Motley Crue lead singer. He doesn't look very good. And Kid Rock went to John Bon Jovi's Nashville bar and did a little set because John Bon Jovi's bass player was being honored for his birthday. And for some reason, Kid Rock got pissed off and left. I stand with Kid Rock always. And apparently, Meghan Markle is upset that Kate is going to be on the cover of Vogue. She wonders why, really? Kate is nothing but class. Meghan, not so much. Congratulations, Kate. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. I hope today is yours.